For most of my life, I've been an overthinker, allowing my judgments to get cloudy, the stress and emotions to build and spread wildly. I overthought everything, from getting dressed to sending a simple text, life, not to mention the quality of my performance or efforts, especially now. As a content creator, there are plenty of days where overthinking has gotten the best of me, more than I can honestly remember. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with thinking itself or deep thinking. In fact, we should be thinking often. It's a way for us to exercise our minds, to train our brains. However, just like physical exercise, we should be cautious about overtraining our bodies so we don't run the risk of injury. Well, I've learned that training our brains works in a similar way. Thinking is good, but overthinking runs the risk of injury. Well, in this case, it increases the likelihood of stress, clouded judgment, it disturbs your sleep, and it creates a life that just feels emotionally and mentally drained. Now, an easy way to fix this would be to just change our bad habit of overthinking. But there's a little more to it than that. Let's talk about it. Here are 7 simple ways to help you to stop overthinking that are actually actionable steps towards changing our bad habit of overthinking. Speaking of change, if you've been consuming my content for a while, I'm sure you've heard me talk about change a few different times before. So as you know, change is not something that happens overnight. It's a process that requires patience and understanding. Awareness being the first step in that process. Before we can address the bad habit of overthinking, we have to learn to be aware of when it's happening. See, anytime we find ourselves doubting our actions, feeling stressed, feeling stuck, or just feeling emotionally and mentally drained, then that's the perfect time to take a step back and take a look at our current situation or surroundings, number 1, and number 2, decide how we're going to respond. Let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, but around in awareness. Words said by 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃. Simple words that carry so much value with so little effort. Self-awareness is at the center of our ability to grow, learn, and adapt. And in every moment of awareness, a seed of change is planted. This particular seed is the start of change towards shutting down overthinking. Number 2 is pull things into perspective. In other words, it's easy for us to make things bigger than they need to be or bigger than they are in our mind, especially in a negative light, which is why we have to build self-awareness so we can pull things into perspective. Now, I have an interesting tactic to help with this, and it's called doing a brain dump. However, this brain dump is structured a little differently than what you probably have in mind. Let me explain. Step 1 is do exactly what it says. Brain dump. Take everything your mind has clenched its hands around, every thought you've overthought, and everything you continue to overthink, and just dump it on a piece of paper, in a journal, or in a digital notebook. Either way, just write it down. Step 2 is sort it into categories. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting. You have 3 categories to choose from: general thought, action item, emotion, or feeling. Now, once you have everything sorted, read through each thing you wrote down and ask yourself this question. How important is this right now? Or how much will this matter tomorrow, next week, or even next year? See, just that simple question and changing the way you view everything you've laid out in front of you will not only shut down overthinking, but help you determine your next step. Do or discard. Am I going to react, respond, or act on this thought, idea, or feeling? Or am I going to choose to ignore, detach, and dump what doesn't matter and probably won't matter anytime soon? Number 3 is change your view of fear. In some cases, overthinking is caused by a single emotion: fear. Either you're afraid because you failed before, or you're fearful of trying because you don't want to fail, or feel rejected, or embarrassed if things don't work out. You're not sure where this road leads, so you're overthinking every step along the way. I get it. Trust me. But see, you have to remember that every opportunity is a new beginning with a clean canvas. And in that moment, you have a choice you have to make. Either you can allow fear to find home in your body and eat away at you, or you can face everything and rise. Number 4 is realize that you can't predict the future or change the past. No one can. Regardless of what you've heard or what someone has told you, the past has been lived and the future has yet to come. All you have is right now. We all have right now. And if you spend all of your present time overanalyzing past actions or overthinking things that haven't even happened yet, then you're robbing yourself of your time now, your energy, and your peace. Try shifting your thinking to something like this. My past actions have shaped my present self, and if I want the future to look any different, then I have to focus on what's in front of me now. Number 5 is a big one. Stop waiting for perfection. See, an image of what perfection looks like doesn't exist. And if you're a pretty ambitious person, then we're on the same page, right? We're connecting right now because the moment we start thinking this needs to be perfect is the exact moment we start overthinking and overanalyzing. See, we have to remind ourselves that aiming for perfection is unrealistic, but doing, growing, learning, exploring, those things are practical and worth it. Number 6 is take control of your emotions. Now, this doesn't mean we should bottle up or bury the negative emotions we feel at times. This is actually meant to have the opposite effect. Taking control of your emotions means to acknowledge when you feel something, to explore why you feel it, and then take control of the situation through seeking a solution. An example of this is something I did a while back when I put a custom wallpaper on my phone that said, and I quote, "Don't let it bother you, Ron. It's not worth it." And this was in June, the 19th to be exact. I've changed it since then. But doing that helped me acknowledge when I felt something. Because instead of trying to ignore it by scrolling through social media, I was forced to acknowledge it and explore it just by reading that simple statement every time I reached for my phone. Number 7 is visualize what can go right by focusing on solutions. Simply put, when you focus on all of the negative things that might go wrong or overthink every ounce in a pound, then that is the quickest way to end up paralyzed mentally, stuck, stagnant, stressed, clouded, or emotionally and mentally drained. Now, this idea requires prep work up front rather than an act of response later, meaning you should start your day visualizing what can go right and practice keeping those thoughts present and up front before your mind can drift and spiral off into a direction towards overthinking and overanalyzing and sometimes negativity. But if it does, choose to focus on a solution rather than an emotion. Well, I hope I shared something in this video that gives you an actionable step that you can walk away with today and start shutting down overthinking in your life. And if I did, give this video a thumbs up for me. Comment below as well and tell me exactly which point is going to be that first step for you. I'd love to continue this conversation. Also, I have more videos here on the channel in a series or playlist titled Get Your Life Together. So if you enjoyed this conversation, I'm sure you'll receive value from those as well. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and join this community so you can grow and learn with all of us here. Always remember to stay true to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.